Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skibowski of Remax Lakes.
Good morning.
And welcome to the weekend.
Here we are.
Yes.
It's the big weekend.
It is the big weekend, yeah.
In the Skibowski household.
Yeah, you got a little something going on.
We got a little something going on. My youngest is getting married.
Awesome.
So, yeah, a lot of stress, a lot of strain, but we're going to live it up here this weekend.
And this is the one that just graduated law school, right?
Law school, lives in Cincinnati, so it's a traveling wedding.
Yes. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
That is awesome. Also, it's the time that we're in the springtime, so that means a lot of spring breakers. You know, headed down to Florida and whatnot this weekend. But this is the weekend, or this is the time rather, that the real estate market tends to heat up.
And you know, it has. In the last couple of weeks, it's been crazy. There are numerous houses coming on the market, multiple offers. It's last summer all over again.
Right, and so the feds have kept the rate pretty low.
Yeah, it's actually 4 3/8, 4.5 on a 30-year fixed.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty good. But you know, when you think about the folks that are mid-20s at this point, or a lot of them are starting to buy homes, graduated college or been in their job long enough to where they feel comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
All they've heard their entire life is 3% interest.
Yeah.
So when it jumped up to 5%,
right,
all of a sudden, oh my gosh!
Right.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Right.
So 4.5 is still a very good rate. You talk to the old timers. Back when I bought my first house, the interest rate was 18%.
Yes.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
great. I never experienced that, but
well, I'll tell you what. I do remember that. I remember my parents selling their house, and it was around 1980.
Yep.
And interest rates were through the roof.
Yeah.
And it was and I just remember the conversations I heard them talking about and the struggles that they had during that time. It was not a good time.
But you know what? People still bought and sold houses.
Yeah.
Everything's relative. It adjusts.
Mm-hmm.
So your interest rate was a little bit higher. Of course, the prices were a lot lower, but wages were a lot lower.
Yeah.
So I guess the whole point is that many of the folks today are hearing that, oh my God, it's 4.5%. I'm going to wait till the rates drop.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably not going to drop.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon. And if they do drop, it's for a lot of bad stuff that's happened in the economy that we really don't want to have to deal with.
Yeah, that's
true. Suck it up. It's 4.5%. It's still a good rate.
But I did hear something earlier this week on the radio, and there was a new report came out that basically solidified it was Fort Wayne as like the most affordable place to live in the nation. Fort Wayne was number 1, South Bend number 2.
Yeah, so we're right in the middle of that.
We're right in that triangle.
Yeah.
So we are right there. So
we are, and the housing market in Kosciuszko County, it is pretty affordable. Again, I came from the Detroit area,
mm-hmm.
and it's been a long time ago that I moved, in 2000, but the housing there was a lot more expensive. Property taxes were a lot more expensive than what they are here. So
mm-hmm.
again, it's relative to what you're used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my first house, I bought it for $82,000, and a friend that moved down here from Detroit, he said, really, like in Detroit, this house would be like a $300,000 home.
Yeah.
So it big difference.
Major difference between the metropolitan areas, absolutely.
Okay, so we have gone through the whole system from putting the house up on the market to getting ready to buy a house to submitting your proposal for it and getting an accepted offer, and now we are down to the point where we are going to closing.
Yeah, last week we talked about title work and those things, all those pieces in the background for closing. But we're getting ready. Hallelujah! Finally, it's the day.
Yeah.
We're going to get there. We're going to sign all the documents. You've heard the stories. Oh my gosh, my wrist is going to hurt. Because I have to sign a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
it's true. You're going to have to sign a lot of documents.
Right.
So
for the buyer,
for the buyer,
the seller doesn't.
Seller not so bad.
Right.
Seller not so bad, but for the buyer, there's a lot of paperwork to sign. So moving up to that closing date, we've gone through, our lenders all done. They've given us clear to close. That's the magic tones.
Mm-hmm.
When we get clear to close, we schedule the closing, and now what? So I just was thinking, hey, what types of questions would I have if I've never gone? First one, do I have to be there? and you wouldn't think that,
Yeah.
but today's world, right? We can sign everything electronically.
Right, true.
So, somebody asked me that question, do I have to be at closing? I'm like, what? What are you talking? Yes, you need to be at closing.
Right.
But again, we can sign so many things electronically now, perception, maybe I can, maybe I don't need to be there. But, yes, you do. Any party to the contract needs to be at closing to sign. Now, can it be a remote closing? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Many times we'll have sellers that have moved out of town already. They'll sign remotely at another location. Maybe they've moved to California. They'll sign documents in California. They have to be overnighted back to the title company for the title company to have them, the original copies. The buyers that are here locally, and we'll go into the title company. You want to allow about an hour, hour and a half to sign, because that's about what it takes. It depends on if you're a reader or not.
That's a lot of documents.
There's a lot of documents, and when I say it depends if you're a reader or not, it's important that you understand what you're signing.
True.
But the reality is, most of the documents are created by your lender, and they're just spelling out. It's the mortgage, the note. All of those things spell out the terms of paying the loan back. Mm-hmm. So they're your lender's documents and their lender disclosures and those kind of things that they need to clarify, that they need to fix up.
And something that I've noticed is that the person that works for the title company, they generally explain it pretty well on what you are signing, and if there's any part of that document that you should probably take a look at.
Absolutely. They'll point out the key pieces. They're doing a summarized version, but if you want the detail, they can give that to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, I think we probably ought to take a break here, and then we get back, we'll jump on.
I guess it is that time. Isn't it? We'll be right back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. We'll be back right after this.